Welcome to the Sanicas. My name is Zach. In this episode, we are going to relive the school memories. We are trying to bring back the life we had in school and shed more light on some of the sanitation practices. The question is, what we saw then, was it good practice or was contrary to what we expected now that we are sanitation professionals? What can we do different? Is there an initiative we are taking at individual level to push the change we desire? In this episode, I'll be reliving my personal school memories in WASH, which is divided into segments, and we'll be discussing one at a time. But to join in discussion and shed more light, you can feel free to drop in your comments, and we'll be able to capture your memories as well. Thank you. This brings us to the first question. Why discuss school sanitation? School sanitation is very important because for most of us who have attended school for quite a while, the biggest portion of our lives has been in school, where we're learning different behaviors, ways to interact with the communities, individuals, and all these have influenced our adult life. The majority of the behavior traits, characters we portray are from exposure we had during the childhood. So this makes school sanitation an important topic to discuss. Some of the pointers that come into my mind are sanitation in school will definitely influence school attendance, especially when it comes to the girl child. You will notice that there are incidents where communities have reported that because of poor sanitation, the girl child attendance has dropped, mainly because there is no privacy or they have no place to discard their sanitary towels that have been soiled by blood. But then this also brings us to another important issue. This is an area where you would expect people to learn environmental responsibility, things to do with waste management, community practices that encourage proper disposal, water saving and in school. So this makes it an important area if you're having targeted interventions on behavior change. The other issue that we cannot downplay when it comes to school sanitation is the aspect of preparing the pupils, students to engage in community activities. Students and pupils are the greatest change agents you can ever have, and these have the power to promote awareness and raise public health issues, all starting from their home and in their communities where they engage or even go and play. So with these few pointers, I would like to also close with this important one, that school sanitation promotes gender equality. We have had incidents whereby schools have reported an equal distribution of toilet stands or toilet units for the different genders in school, with the deficit always being on the girls' side. Well, if this is brought out through such initiative or through proper planning, we'll be able to encourage students have better mental well-being and also attendance. Let's not forget the power of sanitation in promoting gender equality through providing privacy, menstrual hygiene facilities to encourage the girls to attend school, especially during the menstrual seasons. This brings us to an end of this session where we're talking about the importance of school sanitation. Well, let's dive into the segments where I relive my personal memories. It is an interesting one and captivating because some of the memories really keep me laughing. Yes, the first experience I would like to share with you is the one of a field pit latrine in school. This was a bizarre one because whenever we went to have the number two or do what most people call giving a dump, you always needed to be wise. When you squat and you're about to go about your business, you need to be careful so that what was kept in the pit does not splash back to your behind, to your bottom. So sometimes we needed to go in, do the business with our toe raised so that every time number two product goes into the pit, the splashing does not get to you. But unfortunately, some people were very poor at the timing. They would try the method of trying to go about their business, then jump, and sometimes what we call the sheet would end up on the stocking. This was one of the challenges. We cannot downplay this because it was really very frustrating and a tedious process that every time I thought about going to the toilet, I would just know that's another journey to test my resilience. What I always had to do was to hold it until I got back home. I believe until now there are students who go through the same challenges. That's why I wanted us to share this topic and raise this concern so that some of these issues can be averted, or those concerned can provide the necessary initiatives to create the change that we always desire. Well, the other thing I would like to bring your attention to is the second part where I experienced maggots that came out in the hot afternoons from the pit. You would literally see them wiggling like they are dancing to the tune of Amapiano. This was a very bad look at that moment, that if you were caught up with number two, you would not have a second thought about getting there, because this stuff, apart from crawling on your shoes, the look of having them squashed under your feet was disgusting. Just imagine a student who is experiencing diarrhea in such a situation. Besides having the challenge of a running stomach, have to go and meet this sanitation unit that is unsanitary. This now triggers the question, what are the likely risks of having pathogens being spread? And sometimes these maggots would crawl even closer to dormitories. This is a sad reality that I know some schools could be facing. The third experience I had in school then was observing manual emptying. Because of the cost associated with the cesspool truck, sometimes you would have only one truck that would support the emptying services and probably located in the next district. So school during emergency situations would opt for hiring the guys to do the manual emptying, the manual emptiers. What they usually did, just imagine a school where most of the land has been occupied by structures. They would find a nearby space, probably closer to even the dormitories or kitchen cooking area, and then dig a pit, break one side of this filled pit latrine and empty out the fecal waste or fecal sludge. After, they would compact it with the waste and then tie a rope around twigs that are stuck into that point. And then the next thing you would hear during the assembly days, a communication past that, please near point X, we have dumped waste there, it's deep, don't cross. But regardless of the school's initiative to communicate, there was still a challenge. This is a school where children are still learning and are inquisitive. Some ended up getting stuck within that area that always had a mix of mud and fecal sludge. Then I remember I used to see flies around that specific point for a certain period of time until actually it dried. The question is, was that an effective way of managing waste in school at that time? If so, is it still being practiced today? If that is the case, what can we do different? These are questions for us to answer. And if there are still any schools that have got these challenges, feel free to send us an email or drop in your comment. We'll see how best we can support and create the change that we all desire. Okay, it comes now to this personal one. The date I missed due to a smelly pit latrine. Yeah, there was this pretty young girl that I always had sleepless nights about at the time in school. She was so pretty that I thought she never visited the sanitation unit. That's how fascinating her beauty was. After several nights of hassles on how best I would approach her, number two comes in knocking. Yeah, I was supposed to visit the pit latrine then. And the stench in the pit latrine was not good, that you're left with a new fragrance on either your body or your shirt. Interestingly, I had to go in, but I had two options. One was to go in shirtless, and the other alternative was to go in with a shirt. Now, the option for going in shirtless was not possible because at that time there was a crowd around, and being a school leader at that moment, I would lose my respect and influence. I had to dare, thinking it was still early in the morning, the stage wouldn't be that bad, by moving. And then after doing my business, I get out and then I ask my friend, do I still smell like I am from the pit latrine? And I was like, bro, man, the thing is real. And that's when I dropped my proposal and missed out on the girl that I was supposed to date for the day. I know many of us there have got the fun and bitter side of poor sanitation in school. Feel free to share your experiences so that we can raise awareness about some of the challenges children face when they're in school. Thank you very much for following this session. It's meant to be educative and also entertaining. Oh yes, there are many lessons we can learn from my personal experience from poor sanitation in school. That said, let's keep learning, pushing for change, keep strong when it comes to school sanitation. We believe school is a place where we can have the greatest change. Sign out and say, stay lucky, keep it sanikers. I am your host, Zach. As always, goodbye. See you next time.